time to spread your bird cheeks, boys, because you know what? The actions from Sony and Nintendo especially are making me pro-retro piracy. I used to be against it, but you know what? Since they're not preserving the industry, someone needs to. Bird Breast does.
What Nintendo?
Skip it up and that up. With a 32-inch 4K Ultra HD resolution, a 98% P3 IPS panel with HDRI, FreeSync Premium Pro, 1 millisecond response time, and 144 Hz refresh rate, built-in 2.1 channel speakers powered by Trivolo Audio, an AI noise-canceling microphone for super clear voice communication, DSP chips to augment depth, clarity, definition, presence, and stereo field imaging, multiple ports that make it compatible with all different kinds of devices, and BenQ proprietary eye care technology for viewing comfort. The BenQ EX3210U is the perfect monitor for your PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, or gaming PC. Click the link in the description to find out more. So what I love about the gaming industry is they have no problem reselling you the same game over and over and over and over again. But if you want to preserve those games, now that we're moving into a digital future, they don't really have any real way to preserve them. So, for example, the Wii U and Nintendo 3DS eShops are shutting down in 2023. Guess what? There's a lot of games on there that weren't released on other platforms. You can only get them on the eShop. You know what's going to happen to those games? They're going to disappear. They're going to cease to exist. So, game preservation is slowly dying. Remember what happened when Sony was going to shut down the PS3, PSP, and PS Vita stores. Now, the PSP store has shut down, but they're going to keep open the PS3 and PS Vita stores for the foreseeable future. Now, when it comes to Nintendo being takedown happy and DMCA happy, I've talked about it before plenty of times in the past. They're way too egregious with it. They even went after a perfect example of it being totally unnecessary. Someone remade Super Mario Brothers, the NES version, for the Commodore 64. Like, to literally play it on the Commodore 64. Obviously, no one was asking money for it, and Nintendo DMCA'd it out of existence. For what? But on the flip side, there are times where I side with Nintendo. Now, the Steam Deck just came out, and shout out to the YouTuber, The Fox. He really goes into reviews of all those kind of portable Switch-like gaming PCs, including the Steam Deck, Valve Steam Deck, and he was showing a Nintendo Switch emulator running on there. I can understand why Nintendo would want to take down that video, which they did, because you don't, like, hey guys, our current gen system, the Nintendo Switch, you could just emulate it on other hardware. Why buy the games in our console if you could just emulate it on your PC? I can understand them wanting to take that down. But then they go in the complete other direction, and when people are just trying to preserve video game history, Nintendo's like, no, you can't preserve it. Just, we're getting rid of it. And this is what they did. So there was something released along with Super Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64 in Japan called the Super Mario 64 Complete Clear Guidebook. And what was interesting about it is just not because it was a guide for the game, it had really well done real world dioramas that were commissioned to serve as like 3D maps. It was cool and it was interesting to look at. Like the article says, and I'm going to make it clear too, this was a book released only in Japan in 1996. Nintendo never remade it. It's not like they're selling it on Nintendo.com right now. That's it. That someone just wanted to put up pictures of this book. So Comfort Food Games over on a website called the Internet Archive uploaded scans of this guide that was just released in Japan, that the only way you could get your hands on it is by going on eBay and spending ridiculous amounts of money. That's it. They weren't looking for money for this. They weren't making you pay to get images of it. They weren't looking to make an NFT out of this guidebook. It was just to preserve the book. Got DMCA'd by Nintendo. Comfort Food Video Games sent Kotaku this statement regarding what happened. Sadly, archive.org sent me their usual takedown notice email telling me Nintendo of America challenged the copyright of the scan and it was removed. Frankly, I'd love to challenge the legitimacy of that and how Nintendo of America would have anything to do with a Nintendo of Japan licensed Gem Books guide from 1995, but I can't really fight the Nintendo legal team here. It's incredibly disappointing. While I fully understand protecting one's IP and copyrights, I didn't think I was hurting anyone by scanning and uploading a 27-year-old guide that is extremely out of print. Truthfully, I think it helps Nintendo while only hurting the people selling this guide for literal hundreds of dollars. All I wanted to do was spread my love of this incredible guide and to a larger extent my love for the company. I'm a rookie to the video game preservation scene, but I can't think of anything more depressing than how it's a bunch of hardworking people spending their free time and money painstakingly archiving and preserving history while major corporations like Nintendo are doing nothing to help. In fact, they're actively hindering the cause. Now, there's countless other examples that I've gone through history where Nintendo would just take down stuff that was completely harmless, like someone making a tech demo of Super Mario 64 in Unreal Engine. It's literally was just a level, just a proof of concept, wouldn't hurt anybody. Nintendo takes it down. That's just what they do. You know, I can understand if someone was making like a risque adult video using Princess Peach and they wanted to DMCA that. They want to protect their image. I understand all that. But seriously, Nintendo, you're going to go after these harmless remakes like Super Mario Brothers for the Commodore 64, which I just can't get over that. Were you planning on re-releasing Super Mario 64 for the Commodore 64, Nintendo? Is that what it was? Ah, now I understand. No, you weren't. Jesus Christ. So that's why I have no problem buying these carts now. Yeah, this is a repro cart by some probably Chinese knockoff company with a bunch of illegal ROMs on it. But first off, I'm playing it on a Mega SG. Unless any of these developers are planning to re-release their games for, say, a Sega Genesis console, they're not making money off of this anyway. And yes, I know I could get the Mega SG and make it that I could run ROMs right off of the SD card slot, which is on the side. But the game's here. These are preserved. They're permanently on here. The games it has a battery backup too, which is nice. But that's it. They're on the ROM. Don't have to worry about it. Don't have to worry about losing them. Don't have to worry about if the SD card goes bad. So there was a time I used to be like, oh, these shouldn't be sold. These shouldn't be on Amazon. But you know what? If Nintendo and all these other companies aren't preserving the history and actually actively trying to hinder game preservation, I'm not apologizing anymore. I'm not against these anymore. And if anyone doesn't like that I'm buying these the way the industry is being anti-consumer right now, you could kiss my ass. I'm happy I got this. And plus, hey, it has Strider on it. Actually, the cartridge that's in my Mega SG has Strider on it. I bought 2 of them. That's how much I like them. Got to change your ways, guys. Until then, I'm pro retro piracy. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one.